3smradio.com.
We got Brayl Mac coming up next. Nelz in the midday.
Getting it in this fast life, hustling to the cash right. I'm a hustler like last night. Around them niggas who pass dice, puff loud like a bagpipe. Coochie strip looking satellite. Movie to it, you would take one if you play the role and wanna act tonight. Fresh to death, afterlife. Salute to the niggas who passing kites. I'm on my Jordan, pass the mic. Lines dope like a slash of white. Getting stripes for my bragging rights. On the scene like a camera light. On the streets like a pair of nights. Turning up Fahrenheit. In fast whips, doing about 100. While blowing fire, doing about 100. With a bad bitch, doing about 100. Stand fly, doing about 100. I'm loving it in this fast life. I'm a hustler like last night. Getting it, you better act right. I'm out here to my cash ride. Doing about 100. 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 I'm loving it in this fast life. I'm a hustler like last night. Getting it, you better act right. I'm out here to my cash ride. Slowing down, never that. 100 miles, no going back. A running rebel, all black, no doubts, straight facts. I'm a pimp C, we bun that. Riding dirty, I love that. 100 MPHing for them niggas who hate it. If you want it bad, you better get it. Instead of standing there bitching, like future, my fingers itching. So I'm out here on the mission. Looking fresh in my 2 chains while I'm riding around and I'm getting it. I ball hard when you pivot. Off the backboard, Blake Griffin. In fast whips, doing about 100. While blowing fire,
Doing about 100.
with a bad bitch,
Doing about 100.
stand fly.
Doing about 100.
I'm loving it in this fast life. I'm a hustler like last night. Getting it, you better act right. I'm out here to my cash ride. Doing about 100.
Yo, we back. It's Nelz in the midday, man. We're gonna cut that short. I got my man in the building with me, Brayl Mac. What up, bro?
Yo, what's up, family? It's always good to be on with you once again.
Hey,
What's
man.
poppin'?
It's a pleasure to have you, my brother. So
Always,
listen, man.
Thank you, man.
I was on Facebook yesterday, just to tell y'all why we got Brayl Mac on today. I was on Facebook yesterday, and the brother, first of all, very deep brother, man. Like, you know what I mean? He's more than just a writer. He's more than just a producer. He's more than just a rapper. You know what I mean? He a jack of all trades. But he posed a question that I found to be quite interesting myself. And the question was just a simple question. Why don't you give him the question, bro?
The question is basically, how do you feel, or how does the people react to being in the military and fighting for a country that judges you by your color, or your religious beliefs?
Yes.
And that always, baffled me. And the crazy is when you see people going to risk their lives and putting other people's lives in priority, but you can't even go to a church and be safe because someone's sitting there ready to kill you because of the color of your skin, and you people go and risk their lives for that, or even to the point of going over there and developing post-traumatic stress and all of the war symptoms, and you come back and you can't even get a place to live.
Or a job,
Or
for
food.
that fact.
Or a job.
And when I read that, bro, it really kind of made me think, you know what I mean? And it really brings to light, because you were in the military, correct?
Correct.
And so you know firsthand what it's like. You wasn't, did you go to Iraq, or was you already out by then?
No. I was in the Air Force. I went in, to take a different opportunity path, But sometimes when you really realize things, some plays it benefits for some, and some, it does others, but it's not nothing that I would not, or anything like that. But I would like to tell the people before you resort to that, make sure you choose school or finish school as a first option.
Yeah. So being, because you have friends, a lot of friends has been in the military, that's currently active duty, as well as that's retired or out of the military. And what made you really, what touched you to say that. You know what I mean? And I noticed that you mentioned the church, and I think that that was a great example. I put something up on my Facebook that the next day, right after the shooting in Virginia, something that was reported in the media, a man went to a church in Virginia, tapped on the door, and was like, you good for nothing niggas, you worth nothing, I'm gonna kill you all. And when the police came, they arrested him and took him to the hospital, to the psych ward, to be checked out. But that was underreported. You know what I mean? What made you get to the point where you wanted to post that? What was on your mind at that time?
Because people aren't feeding the seeds, you know. And I just really believe in, you know, if it's not worth dying for, it ain't worth doing. You know what I'm saying? And I stand up for what I believe in. You know, and it's a lot of voices that want to be heard, but, you know, maybe they just don't have that voice to be heard. So that's why I choose to speak for the people. And being that I got relatives, you know, I got people that I care about in my life that go and put their life on the line for people out here in America. You know what I mean? And they're not loved because their color of their skin, but their heart is going way above and beyond those measures to protect the front line. So it just confuses me, you know, and when they come back, you know, it's like they can't find work. You know, they can't go in and have unlimited food or, you know, live in a rent-free America. Like, if you sacrifice that much of your life, you know what I mean, I at least feel like you need to be rewarded those things. And it don't do that, because to me, America is a business. It's not a country.
I agree. It's a corporation. And see, you know what, bro? A lot of people do not understand that fact. And I'm glad that you mentioned that. Everything that has ever happened in this country, even when you go back to slavery, you know what I mean, the coming here, the still in the land, slavery, on up to Jim Crow, on up to now, everything that has happened or has changed, the one common denominator is the money. It had nothing to do with the people. And my man came on last week, Nerve, and really touched on that fact and exposed that it's all about the money. The Civil War had nothing to do with slavery. It had to do with the money. And now you send brothers over there. And, you know, I talked to some dudes in the military recently. I was at a barbecue with a bunch of brothers that some of them was active duty and some of them had fulfilled their obligation to the country. And the one dude said something that I found profound, and I've heard this said a lot of times. He was like, the military like being in prison. And I looked at him
but you the crazy thing, I don't mean to cut you off, bro, but that right there, the obligation to the country. What obligation do we have to this country other than to raise our children the right way and plant the seeds for them to be positive, to be productive to society? You see, and that's another reason why I feel the way that I feel, because it's like so many things that are systematically placed in our brain as a people, as a culture, you know, subliminally and unconsciously, we tend to adopt those thoughts as well. You know, when in reality, we're kings and queens, you know, and until we find that path to know that we are kings and queens, I think we're going to continue to follow polar bears when polar bears can't raise gorillas.
Right.
It's right. Impossible. And it is about the have and the have-nots. You know, we live off of a promissory note. You know, the dollar. You know what I mean? And to me, race and stuff does exist. Racism does exist. It does, you know, but that's ignorance. Racism is ignorance, when really the big plan is, are you going to have that money or be in that different tax bracket to be able to put you and your family on that spaceship when this mug start crumbling?
That's deep. That's deep.
Yeah, man.
That's deep. And I think you're absolutely right.
You know, the thing is, you know, I believe in reproduction. You know, I firmly believe in, you know, a man and a woman, you know, and reproducing. However, I don't get entangled in to what people's lives are. You know, that's their decision. But it's crazy how all of that came into play when this dude just sat here and killed 9 people in a church. And then the reverend was the most vocal in the Walter Scott case.
How strange is that, right?
Come on, man.
Open your eyes,
These people, man.
And you know what's funny? Let me say this. Let me say it's funny. Hold on. Let me
Confederate flag to upset ignorant people who don't have knowledge to that flag. So now you about to have a war.
So listen to this. It's funny that you saying these things because I want to go back a little bit and kind of expound on some stuff that you said. I think one thing that you're absolutely right on is that we don't even know who we are as a people, and we don't realize that before we was here, we was not savages. We wasn't running around in the woods like some monkeys and all of that. We was kings and queens, and a lot of people don't realize that. And once you start to walk in that, as you and your queen do, you see that your thought pattern begin to change, but you'll find that people that don't have knowledge of self begin to look at you differently. You understand what I'm saying? And it's funny because it's a lot of smoke and mirrors, because we can't negate the fact that this guy did go inside a church, a historically black church, and shoot 9 people. Now, how it's going to play out in the end is what I'm concerned about, because after it happened, one thing I said is, like, it's going to be some copycats of that, unfortunately. Just like you've noticed that it hasn't been said much in the media, but since the shooting in Charleston, 6 historically black churches been burned down. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yes. Since the shooting in Charleston, 6 churches in the South,
wow,
historically black churches, has mysteriously caught on fire and burned down. And no one's talking about that part. You know, no one's mentioning that. And I just want to know, what's your thoughts on because it's a divide, and we're getting more and more divided. Like, I'm realizing that we're in a space where we have a lot of black people that's affluent, but we have a lot of our people that's not affluent. You know what I mean? A lot of our black men and women go to the military to get away from the poverty that they're going through, not realizing that when they come back, they're going to be more in poverty. Like, you going back to the poverty. For you being in the military, how did it change? Did it change your thinking, or was it a programming?
It was really a programming, you know, but I feel blessed to the part where I can say, even though it was a programming, I didn't allow myself to get systematic. Mm-hmm. You know, if that makes sense to the listeners. Mm-hmm. My third eye was still open to what was going on and what was reality, like I still had a foot on the ground. You know, but when you do go in there, you know, it is a brainwashing technique, because you got to be broke down. I do thank the part of the discipline that I received in there, you know, and being that I received that discipline and I was able to transition it back into the civilian, in the civilian world, you know, it really helped me, you know, with progression as far as time management and discipline and things of that nature. So in that aspect, you know, it had its goods and it had its bads, you know, but I was able to stay in touch with who I was as a person and just be able to merge both together to make me better.
And I think that's what you have to do. You understand what I'm saying? Like, one story that I don't normally talk about is, in my past, I went to prison, and, you know, to hear a brother say the military was like prison, I found it strange, but yet I could see how he would feel that way, because no matter how you look at it, you still within a system. You within a system where you have to deal with, and this in the military, you still have to deal with racism, with other soldiers around you. You understand what I'm saying? You still have to deal with being an outcast. You know what I mean? So although you free in regards of you know, able to maneuver around, you're still not free. And I know that, because I know a lot of soldiers right now that's dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder, and they're not functioning in society at all. They are lost. I recently watched a documentary that a lot of the major, and this is unfortunate to say, a lot of the violent crimes that's happening right now is being done by soldiers coming back. What's your thoughts on that? White and black now.
Yeah, I could believe that, because it's a situation as to where it's no help. But I call that the game. That's the game. That's what population control. That's statistics. That's how those things are able to come and play. While the man is just sitting back with his feet up drinking, laughing at the whole situation. To me, media hypes up a lot of things, and racism is a big, small part. And the reason why I say it's a big, small part is because it's grown to be so big due to the nature of it. However, it's something that's super small because the problem that really exists is the have-nots. But when you bring racism and you bring gay marriage and you bring all of these other things into play, that's what takes the distraction away. So then people become complacent. And when you go over there and you fall into their trap because you come from a certain part of town, you go over there and you subject yourself to these things and come back, you're not in your right mind. So therefore, you become an asset to them. You become something that can make them money because now you're buying pills. Now you're being placed in a facility. Where insurance comes in play. You know what I'm saying? It's all a game. If we go back to barter and trade, a lot of people would not survive because it would be a purge.
You believe that? You believe that it would be a purge? You really believe that?
It would be. I believe it would be a purge. You know what I mean? Right now, the game is just being tested. People are being tested. You know what I mean? People are being tested to see if they will succumb to what it is that these people are throwing out there as bait. That's why when you see a lot of the postings on Facebook, you really don't pay them no attention. Don't pay attention to that stuff. You know what I mean? It's stuff called Photoshop. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can change things around to make it look like something that it's not. You know what I mean? And a lot of people are being controlled by it. You know what I mean? Look at Kendrick. He did it simple. Simple stuff. Kendrick put out an album called Control. Let the people know who he was talking about. But you know what it did? It made everybody respond to him.
Mm-hmm.
It controlled him. And they didn't even know it. They thought they was getting back at him, but all he wanted to make them do was respond.
And he was able to do that.
And he accomplished that.
Well, listen,
because
man,
it was that simple.
Listen, you tuned in to Nelz in the Midday 3SM Radio, y'all. Alternative to mainstream radio. I got my guest, Brayl Mac, producer, writer, rapper, father, husband. You know what I mean? This man carry a lot of titles. But now we're just talking in general. We just talking about, how does it feel to, and I'm paraphrasing here, how does it feel to go into the military and fight for some people that don't respect your color or don't respect your religion? And which leads me to this. You have a lot of Muslims that fight in our military, and they come home to be ostracized if they practice their religious beliefs. And I kind of want you to kind of touch on that, because I thought about that after I read your post. I kind of did think about that, like, wow, it's a lot of Muslim Americans that's over there fighting. You know what I mean? And I don't actually know none personally, because I would want to know if they feel a little indifferent to be over there fighting, but yet to know that, those people believe what they believe. You know what I mean? Like, you over there fighting, and then at the same time, you come home and you practice your religion, and then these same people looking at you like you're the terrorist when you just left trying to protect their rights.
That is absolutely right. That, being honest, with the people is really something that I really couldn't touch on, as far as speaking from the perspective of someone who practices that religion. However, I do know and am close with a lot of people who are Muslims, and I could only imagine, if I feel that way, what they must feel, because if I'm getting judged by the way I look and they're getting judged for their beliefs, it's pretty much, the same common denominator, so that would be something great that, listeners who listening to this right now, if you are a Muslim, call in and speak, so we can give the world, and the people a different perspective of what you may be thinking, so we could try to come up with some type of understanding, where we all on the same page, where we can bring this to the forefront.
I agree, man. If you want to call in, man, you want to talk to me and bro, you can call us at 404-418-5565. That's 404-418-5565.
Yes, and radio.
No doubt. So let me ask you this. Bro. You obviously, bro, you are a very deep brother, and I'm sure that you go through a lot of the same things I go through. People not hearing what you're saying, are they?
Nah, but I know when you speak to someone, I ran into a guy a few years back, and he let me know you're not going to change every person or every individual that you go or run into, and I understood that fact, and he let me know as long as you reach one person, you reach everybody. And that's when
right.
He let me know, with the thought of a mustard seed, you can move them out. And really, when you plant that seed in one person and they go tell two, then that 2 turns into 4, that 4 turns into 8, you move in that mass. So as long as I can reach one person, I know I've done my due diligence.
Hold on, bro, hold tight.
Work.
We got a caller. Let's see what we got. Hold on. Caller, go on, man. You live with Nelz in the midday. Sit tight. I'm going to bring you in. Hold on.
And I understood that,
Hold on, man. It look like we lost Brayl. Hopefully he can call us right back. It looks like we lost him. But go ahead, bro. Go ahead with your comment while we waiting on him to call in.
Well, actually, I'm a friend of Brayl. I was on that Facebook post that you guys spoke of earlier. And these guys touched on it when they were speaking about how it all comes down to the money. Mm-hmm. Brayl and I were from the same hometown, a small town with a big city feel right outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Shout out to Aliquippa, PA. This was a town that...
We got Brayl back, too. But Brayl?
Yo.
Go ahead, man.
Bro, what's up, homie, man?
Who we got on the line, first of all, bro? What's your name?
What's up, Hunt? What's poppin', man?
I'm Hunt, man. Brayl, the favorite rapper's favorite rapper. That's my man right there.
Well, go ahead with your comment, bro.
Well, like I was saying, Brayl and I, we were raised up in the same hometown, a small town with a big city feel right outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And this is a town that experienced poverty once the steel mills closed down. So it's hard to find jobs, hard to get money, hard to take care of your family. So for me, and it's like what you guys touched on earlier, it all comes down to the money. So when I joined the military, I did 10 years in the Army. In 1998, I wasn't thinking about going in to protect the country or, take care of the racist part of the country that may hate me for my color or for my religious beliefs. I did that because I wanted to be a part of the game. I wanted to get some money in my pocket. And the way to do that, through the system that's set up today, you have to have that college degree if you really want to make that money. I didn't have the money to pay for, a big 4-year college or anything like that. So the military was offering free tuition. So I did that, came in, and I'm going to be honest, I actually enjoyed the first 5 years of my career. Didn't pretty much like the last 5 years because, the system changed and, the way that the military is looking right now, that started to come into play during my last 5 years. So the game had changed a lot, and, you know, that's how that is. But as far as looking at it from the point of we're fighting for a country that doesn't respect us or is looking to kill us, walking in churches with guns and so on and so forth.
Right.
My question to you is, what's the alternative? You know, if we're coming up in areas where our school system sucks, you know, there's no jobs there, there's nothing really to put us in the game to even out the playing field. What is the alternative? Not saying that the military is the only alternative, but what are others?
I think
if you're not the best basketball player, or if you're not scoring, you know, mad touchdowns on the football field, or if you ain't got a hot 16, how else are you going to get out the hood?
Well, let me say this. It's funny. I'm glad that you asked that, because what I'm about to say may upset some people, but this is how I feel. And bro, I'm gonna give you a chance to comment after this. All right.
Absolutely.
This is where I'm at with that. That's a very good question, but I think that this is our issue, that we as a community have to, first of all, begin to police ourselves.
Correct.
One of our biggest problem is, as much as I hate to say this, as black people, is niggas. So if we gotta first police our problem. You understand what I'm saying? And say, listen, bro, we're not going to allow this in our communities, and start taking back our communities, not only from the element of the criminal element, but stop letting other people come into our communities and make so much money. We got to take over. We got to basically separate ourselves within the system. We got to take care of ourselves within their system. Realistically, and I know that's hard, but it's the reality of it, because we have to create our own opportunities, because every other nationality that comes to this country, as well as Caucasian America, works with themselves, creates their community, get money in their community. You got Mexicans, you got Asian. You understand what I'm saying? You got whites, but in our community, those outsiders is coming in, generating income. So I think it's going to start with us teaching ourselves. Stop letting other people come in and teach our kids. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Teaching them the truth.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And it's funny that you bring that up, because I just had that conversation with a family member of mine. Mm-hmm. We was getting into the talk of, well, how do we fix this? How do we bring the black community out of, you know, the conditions that we've been in for quite some time now? And I said the same thing that you said. We got to get rid of niggas. Point blank, bottom line. That's just what it is. You know, the ignorance and just the generational ignorance. Raising your children to think that, you know, Jordans and Gucci is what it's all about. Come on, man. Come on. You know, to think that, you know, the cat that's actually getting good grades is the geek and the dork, and that's the guy that you spit upon and you act like he's lame or whatever the case may be. That's the type of thinking that we definitely have to get rid of. I agree with you 100% on that matter. 100% on that.
Bro, I'm gonna give you a chance to go ahead and chime in on that.
Hey man, you know, I'm marching with you on that. You know, I really feel as though it has to start with us, you know. That's why, you know, when you see me on social media, you know, I'm really a person who is a tree. I like to branch out and really let people see, you know, what exists out here, man, because I really follow that Black Wall Street model, you know, from 1900 to 1921. You know, the dollar circulated for a year, you know, and that let me know that it's possible. You know, that if we just come together and we combine and we help uplift each other, you know what I mean, things will start to change. You'll start giving hope back, you know. Like Hunt said, you know, where we're from, you know, it's not a lot of nepotism where we're at, you know what I mean? You may have a person who has a hair salon or a nail shop here, but they gonna go and they gonna spend some money someplace else, therefore, or looking for discounts or shortcuts, you know what I mean? And really not wanting to work to get it to where it is we need to be, because so many families have been broken due to the welfare system because it's so convenient. You know what I mean? So then you start to get complacent. You don't have no urge to go out and make the money because it's given to you. If you give somebody something, they're going to be comfortable. Therefore, they're not going to go and expand their horizons to know what really exists, to be able to feed those children that knowledge.
But you know what?
Until we begin to do that and go out and broaden our horizons and go and shake a brother's hand, even though you don't know his name, and embrace him and whatever you see him smiling about, I just want to thank you for smiling, whatever you smiling about, because you made me smile because somebody else happy. Until we do that, we're going to continue to be under that umbrella.
And you know, it's funny.
We're going to continue to be under that umbrella.
It's funny that you say that, brother, because one thing I heard you say, and I'm kind of indifferent on, is that people, when you give people something, and I agree to a certain extent, because to be on the welfare system is still poverty. To have a job, it's a lot of people that's working, that's in that system, and they still impoverished. You understand what I'm saying? See, this is the problem with this country. And you have a lot of people that's not making $20,000 a year. You can't live off that. You can't live off $20,000, $25,000 a year. That's poverty. You understand what I'm saying? Right. You need that assistance. Unfortunately, it's hard. It's sad, but it's fair. You need that assistance because you're not making enough money on your job for whatever reason, as the brother Hunt said, because because we don't get the proper education. I've been reading the book, man, and I've been slacking off, but I got to finish it. The Miseducation of the Negro. And what's happening is that the system has taught us 5 years behind stuff. You understand what I'm saying? So we're not prepared for what's going on in the future. That's where he's getting at in that book, saying that we go to college and we learn something that's not going to be useful to generate income. If that make any sense. And I think that it starts in our school system, and it starts with these parenting, man. Like we need a school to teach parents how to parent. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's so much bigger than just, saying that, okay.
And it ain't nothing wrong with that either, man.
Exactly.
Like, that would be a great thing.
Because I mean, like
I think that opens the door to the bigger argument. Which, and this is just in my opinion, a lot of people get upset behind this, but I tend to be on the side of it's about race, but it's only about race because that's what keeps us poor folk. And like Brayl said, if you're not able to pay your ticket and your family's ticket on that spaceship, quote unquote, when it lands, then you're poor. Mm-hmm. You're poor. I don't care if you're making $120,000. That's not going to get you on the spaceship.
That's not going to get
you. The bigger argument is they use race to keep us poor people distracted, while the billionaires make billions on top of billions on top of billions. See, I'm from the cloth that believes that the revolution isn't what the mass majority of us believe it's going to be, where it's black versus white. The revolution is poor versus rich.
Right.
That's what it is. And I'm not saying that we need to assimilate, because us as black folk, we need to take care of our own first. Then we need to understand that all this other stuff that's out here to distract us, you got idiots out here that's going to go into churches and kill innocent people, and you got cops that's going to do the wrong thing. And me and Brayl and I know, because we have a friend of ours that's a white male, but he's a good guy. So we know that there's good cops as well. But you got idiots out there. And the media, the government, and so on and so forth, they're going to use these idiots to keep making us think that it's about color, when the only color that matters, and you brothers spoke on it before, is green. And what you've seen with the Supreme Court, with them passing gay marriage being legal in all states, that shows you that it comes down to the money. Because let's just go back 10, 15, 20 years ago. You and I both know, if you, especially if you was a black male, I can't speak from the white aspect of it, but if you was a black male coming up in my hood and you was one of those type of guys, you were ostracized. We didn't deal with that. I come from a hardcore town. It's football. We die hard. We get down that way. So if you wasn't that type of brother and you didn't come from that type of background, you was ostracized. And then if you was into the gay lifestyle, it was even worse.
Right.
But look at what they did. They got their money up, and they put powerful people in powerful places. And now if you speak out against homosexuality, you will be damn near cut off from the game.
Yeah.
And the reason being, it's not because the opinions changed of those that's in power to make those decisions, because these are old school dudes. You know, they don't agree with homosexuality, but they know that their money would get cut off if they went against the game. So that's what we need to do. We need to understand that our money is what will put us in a different situation. So like you said, instead of us going out here and spending our capital in the white communities by going to their grocery stores, by going to the Chinese place to get our nails done, or going to the whatever to buy weaves and whatnot, and the males going to buy their Jordans at the mall and so on and so forth. Let's put money back into our own community. Let's build our own capital, because that's how we get the power. Now, instead of us sitting here and marching, not saying that there's anything wrong with that, because that brings awareness. But that doesn't necessarily bring change. You have to bring money to the table nowadays, and you have to let them know, hey, if we don't get what we want, then we're going to pull our money out of here. And they're not trying to hear that. And then next thing you know, whatever president that's sitting in office at that time, you're going to see a lot of legislation passed.
And you know what's funny?
Hey, this is the new way it is, point blank, bottom line.
And I'm going to give you a prime example.
I hope y'all listening out there. Out there.
You listen, you tuned in to Nelz in the Midday 3SM Radio, your alternative to mainstream radio. If you want to join the conversation, you can call us at 404-418-5565. It's funny that you say that, because I can give you the example of where taking away our dollar created change. When they boycotted the bus system in Alabama, they had to make a change because they lost so much money. See, when you remove your money, you create your own power. And see, that's why it's important for us to start, like you say, spending our money in the right location. And see, at the bottom line is, you know, I read something that's funny. In 10 years, it's going to be legal for gays to get married. It's going to be legal to smoke marijuana. But it still ain't going to be legal to be black in this country. You still going to suffer from some of the same problems that we suffering back in Jim Crow, that we suffered back in slavery. So if we unify our dollar, everybody did it. Everybody came to this country poor. Italians, Jews, Asians, Mexicans, Africans. They all come to this country poor, but get together, create them a community, and make their dollar their power. That's all the gays did. The gay agenda, they've been pushing it for years. I don't know how old you guys are, but I'll be, you know, I'm knocking on 40. And I remember when it was a time that you didn't see two men kissing on a TV. They've been training us to let us know that, yo, we're finna make this legal for a while now. And that's what we have to do. We gotta have, and you know, me and Brayl, we talk about this all the time about cooning and buffooning. We gotta have our own networks. We gotta have our own radio stations, not like this, that's not regulated by the FCC, that we can have these conversations and not have to worry about the backlash. See, I don't care what nobody say or how nobody feel. I'm not here to be politically correct. I'm here to tell the truth. Now, it's my truth. That may not be your truth, but it's my opinion. And I'm not going to let nobody regulate that. But we need our own radio. We need our own TV. We need our own grocery stores. We need all of these things. And we have the capital within the black community, but we leave the community. It's enough money. Let's think about it. It's enough brothers in this country that is well-to-do, that can implement change in our communities. My question is, why aren't they doing it? Or maybe they are and we don't.
I can answer that. And I'll be honest, I pretty much adhere to what I'm about to say. Why would I put my money into the hood where parents will allow their unruly children to tear up whatever community center that I donate money to, or, you know, they don't force their children or go there with their children to go to a rec center that's teaching them, you know, outside of what they learn in the school, how to balance a checkbook, how to invest, how to save, you know, how to go work different jobs and generate income and what to do with it when you get it. Why would the big stars put their money into that when we let niggas fuck it up? You see, and I'm sorry for cussing.
No, it's cool. It's cool. No, it's cool.
About where we are right now. But, you know, why would I invest my hard-earned dollar into that if the community isn't policing itself? So that's where we come back to the beginning of the conversation where, like you said, like the brother Chris Rock said, we got to get rid of niggas. Point blank, bottom line, it ain't cool to be a nigga no more.
No,
it's not, man.
No,
like,
niggas is ruining stuff. Yeah, right. And you know, and let me say this. I understand that when you in poverty, we have two instincts: fight or flight. You understand what I'm saying? So when you're messed up, you're gonna do one of two things. You're gonna find a way to get money, and that may cost you to do some wrong. But see, my problem is the same thing that I always say, even with rioting. Why do we tear up our community? Go tear somebody else shit up, man. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying rioting is right, but what I'm saying is why that type of Baltimore, prime example, and this was the analogy that I used. You got a woman here, right? She has a newborn baby. Her newborn baby needs what? Milk to survive, right? She's already in a lower class community, so she's in the ghettos, inner city ghettos at that. So guess what? It's no grocery stores in the inner city ghettos. So guess what? They get a lot of their needs from the corner store, the bodega, right? If you tear up the bodega, then you put her in a position where she can't feed her child. So it's counterintuitive. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I think that rioting don't work. It don't work. Yeah, it gets you on the news.
I spoke to an older brother and I asked him the same question, and the answer that he gave back to me, it made sense. A lot of those businesses that are in the hood and making that type of money, they're not owned by blacks. Yeah, we do have some black business owners that's in the neighborhood, but the vast majority of those CVS stores and so on and so forth, we know that those aren't owned by black folks. That's correct. His answer to that was, the reason why we tear down those places is because that takes away from their money. And for them to come back and rebuild to make their money back in that community, they're going to have to change some things. So now you can voice, you know, your concerns to this store owner, this business owner, and say, hey, until this XYZ happens, you know, you're not going to be able to rebuild here. And, you know, it's not as easy for them to take their CVS into the suburbs because there's hundreds of them, you know, so they're not going to be making the same type of money. They want to rebuild back in your community. So now they have to address you as opposed to just turning the blind eye to your concerns, saying, hey, how come you're not bringing in fresh fruits and vegetables, and while we're only subject to Hot Pockets and Doritos? You know what I'm saying? We want better than this. And they like, whatever, nigga, spend your money. You know what I'm saying? So now you burn down their establishment, and they want to rebuild because, you know, insurance is going to take care of that. They're not losing much out of pocket. So they want to rebuild so they can get their money back flowing. Now they have to listen to you because you're not going to let them back in. You know, you're just going to burn the next one down. So now, you know, as opposed to you just eating doggone Pop-Tarts and Hot Pockets every day, now you have access to fresh fruits and vegetables and milk and better produce and things of that nature. So that was his answer to that, because I'm the same way. I said, well, why are we tearing up our own? And that was his explanation to that, and it made sense to me.
But, you know, it's two parts to that, though. It's that part, and then it's the unfortunate part that I get my insurance money and I'm out of there. I done made a bunch of money off them niggas anyway. You feel what I'm saying? So now that just means that either nobody else because a lot of times when those places get condemned, they be messed up for a long period, and it's by design. It's messed up for a long period of time. It brings down the value of the neighborhood. You understand what I'm saying? And then what happens is this: boom. Now you don't have no store there. So it can go either way, but that's just a chance that you have to be willing to take sometime.
Yeah, man, it's all a real big game, you know, and to try to figure it out and get everybody on the same page to figure that out, you know, is a task. You know, I really think, man, we got to start respecting these women, you know what I'm saying, which is the birth, you know what I'm saying? That's the motherland of these children, you know, and us respecting them, you know, they'll find balance to help keep us on track, you know, as teens, man.
Very true.
You know, to help us try to spark change, you know, in these children. I really believe that when families got broken, you know, and integration came into play, I mean, look, this gay marriage is the new integration.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In the 60s, it was the black people. Why? Because they needed that money. You know what I'm saying? True. Now they need a new form of money because really, you know, being down here in Atlanta, Nelz, you know, Piedmont, that's a rich area.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You don't want to alienate them.
Money.
Yeah, they don't want to alienate them. They want. That's why they want.
They freed up their dollar. You know what I'm saying? So what we got to do as a people, you know what I'm saying, is start this family thing back. You know, king and queens. We got too many bitches, too many bad bitches, and not enough queens. Too many niggas and not enough kings. You know what I'm saying? And like Hunt said, we got to get up off of that. Until we change our mindset and really have a mindset of understanding, we're going to continue to be confused.
Bro, that's the realest thing that I've heard in the last 3 months, man, straight up. You nailed it. You nailed it right on the head right there, man, because the problems with the black community start with the black male. But we can end it with the black woman. And the reason why I say that is the black woman, like you said, she's the nurturer of our community. She's the one that, you know, most prominently takes care of our children and bring them up. So if we're leaving them alone to raise our young black men, that's just the way it's going to go. And this isn't everyone. I try not to put everyone into a box. But for the most part, you're going to see effeminate young men coming out of that single home situation if there aren't other men in there to help bring this young man up. You know, so just look at how the game go. When black men start more verbally expressing how we like long hair on a woman, weave got popular. When we start expressing more verbally how much we like big butts, butt injections and butt lifts and all this other crap became popular. So, and this isn't the down the woman. So the woman listener that's listening, this isn't the down you sister. This is just explaining how the game go. So now if we start empowering our black women and say, hey, look, it's not about looks. It's about substance. What you bring to the table outside of a fat butt and some long weave, your mindset. Can you raise my son and daughter to be a part of that next generation that's going to push our culture even further, you know? And like Jay-Z said, until we even, thieving. I don't want to thieve no more. Let's get even. Let's get over. Matter of fact, you know, let's get over. So are you the woman that can raise my child to get over? You know, yeah, you got a fat ass. Yeah, you got some Yaki number 7 and all this going on, and your dress look real good in the club. But where your mind at?
And you know, it's funny you say that because that's one of my main things. Like, I'll be like, yo, I can get that anywhere. That don't make you. Because let me tell you something. Like I always say, 20 years from now, that might be gone anyway. Then all I got is your mind. So if your mind not right, then we don't got nothing. You feel what I'm saying? And I think, you know what? First of all, we up against it, y'all, man. I'm glad that y'all called the show, but I just want to close out with this. That we touched on a lot of things today, and I think it do start with the black family. And I just want to say this, that, you know, bro, I know you, right?
Right.
You raise your children, right?
Right.
Hunt, do you have children?
I have 2.
You raise
son and a daughter.
You raise your children, right?
Correct.
I raise my children. So let me just say this to you, everybody that's listening. I want you to understand this. Do not be fooled by the statistics and the lies that they tell you that the black man isn't taking care of his children. That's a small minority. Everybody I know take care of their children. You understand what I'm saying? So don't be fooled by what they tell you. Understand that it's always more to the story than, okay, he left me. Why did he leave you? Was you thotting or was you queening? That's the bottom line. Were you a queen or were you a thot? You understand what I'm saying? It's always more to just that, oh, he just left his kids and he don't want to take care of his kids. Because I know a lot of brothers right now that's trying to see their kids and catching hell. So I just want to leave with that people understand, like, it's much bigger than just, it's about kings and queens, bottom line, and functioning in that realm and not about anything else. And being responsible for your community and saying enough is enough. Until we get to that point, until we say that we've had enough, we shall overcome. And because you know what, something you said, Hunt, made me think. We got to get to the point where we stop caring about racism. I know that's hard to say. We got to stop caring about racism and discrimination and all of that and start caring about, okay, that's fine, what we doing over here. Because if we can focus our energy over here, that'll go away. It won't matter to us no more. They'll stop preaching that propaganda to us because we know it exists. You know what I mean? They'll stop using that as smoke and mirrors to fool us if we focus on, hey, okay, yeah, that's racism. Yeah. You know what? Okay. So y'all want to come in our churches and shoot our churches up. So guess what? We as black people, we got to exercise our right to bear arms because we got the same right they got. You understand what I'm saying? So if you come up in here with that foolishness, and we feel threatened, then we got to start firing back. I know that's a hard pill to swallow, but that's the reality. We're not going to let you come in our community and take advantage of us no more. We're not going to run around and just sing Kumbaya and say it's going to be all good. You understand what I'm saying? At some point in time, we got to say, okay, we're not going to allow this. Just like you exercise your rights, we're going to exercise ours. We're going to take back over our community. And I'm not saying that we got to do it by force. We got to do it by strategic choice. We got to choose to say, I'm not coming back to your store no more. I refuse to spend my money here. Guess what? If you take your money out of these stores, guess what? They have to leave. And then we have to go in there and open up our own. And that's the way we're going to invoke change in our community.
That's it, brother. That's it.
Well, listen, man, I greatly appreciate y'all brothers being on the show. Hunt, man, you can call in anytime, bro. I appreciate you.
Oh, man.
Brayl, we family, man.
All day, man. Love, I appreciate the platform, as usual. And really planting these seeds out to the people. It's always love. It's Brayl tuned in to 3SM Radio, Nelz in the midday, man. We out of here.
All right. It's Nelz in the midday, 3SM Radio, man. That's the end of our show, man. As I always say, man, tell the people you love that you love them today. I'm off for the rest of the week, but I am going to be playing some old shows, so y'all listen to that. You know what I mean? Y'all enjoy your holiday. I'm going to try to enjoy mine. God bless. I love y'all. I hope y'all love me. You know what I mean? Be informed. Be informed. Follow us on social media. Follow us on make sure you check out our website because we're going to have some articles up there that's going to be pertinent to a lot of the stuff that we talk about on the show. Man, God bless. Peace.
SMRadio.com.